Shalom, shalom, everybody. We're kind of just going to jump straight into it. Of course, we're going to start off in prayer. So, Father, we just ask for you to forgive us of our sins and the sins of our ancestors, Father. And we just thank you for another day. Thank you for another chance to learn you, to love you, to trust you, Father. And we just ask for you to protect and keep us from all hurt, harm, and danger, Father. And we just ask for you to be with us and to lead us and guide us into all truth. And to help us to be in our Goshens, Father, because we know that there is a black winter that's coming. And the only way we can make it is through you. It's not by, our strength. It's not by, a president or governor or prince or anything, Father. Your people, we have no might in our hands, Father, and we need you now more than ever. All these things we do ask and pray in the name of your beloved Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. So, today, the lesson is titled Peace and Safety, and Black Winter is Coming. We're going to continue in the Maccabees today. We're going to go through Maccabees, first Maccabees chapters 5 through 7, and to kind of continue to show the bloody struggle for Israel. Because a lot of people aren't aware, that the quote-unquote Jewish people, every year they go over this history, even though technically they're not actually the people. And in this time of awakening, it's just imperative that, we learn or relearn our history. It's imperative that we keep striving and pressing forward in the kingdom and doing the things that are pleasing to the Most High. Because it's in this feast, what some people call Hanukkah, but in this feast of dedication, where Mashiach finally told them, I have told y'all who I am. Right, and y'all didn't believe me because they were doubting that he was the Messiah. He told them who he was, right? So it's a revealing type of a thing, and I'm so glad that that Christmas and all that nonsense is over with, because that has nothing to do with Mashiach, right? If you want to be celebrating something during this time period, it should be the Feast of Dedication, or what some people call Hanukkah. That has to do with him. There was only one time where he said to do something in remembrance of me. And it had to do with Passover. It had nothing to do with Satan or Santa and reindeer and literally breaking and entering into everyone else's house, right? He's a thief and a robber, and he's not coming through the door. That's how you know that that's not the way. So come out of her, my people. Don't be partakers in those sins, right? We got to keep moving forward and pressing forward. Be quiet in the kingdom. We have to. So as we're getting into First Maccabees 5. Eliyahu, be quiet. We're just going to go ahead and jump straight into it, because again, a black winter's coming. Go ahead, Elder.
Now when the nations round about heard that the altar was built and the sanctuary renewed as before, it displeased them very much.
So we know that at the end of the 4th chapter, that Judah Maccabees and his brothers had reclaimed the temple, the sanctuary, all these things, right? And so now the nations round about, they were not happy about this. This was not a good thing for them, because they knew that the order was being reestablished. And there's always a bucking against the system when the kingdom of the Most High is getting set up, right? Keep going.
Wherefore they thought to destroy the generation of Yaqub that was among them, and thereupon they began to slay and destroy the people.
Mm-hmm.
Then Yehudis fought against the children of Esau and of Edom at Arabatime, because they besieged Yael, and he gave them a great overthrow, and abated their courage, and took their spoil.
So you see, no matter what's going on, Esau always got his hand in something. So one thing that I didn't really bring up when it comes to Josephus, like a lot of those different groups of people that were coming against us in the first 4 chapters, were also the Samaritans, right? We know that the Samaritans had some Gentiles that were placed there, but a lot of the northern kingdom were actually still there. They were the poor people. So we were not just fighting against Esau, we were also going against the northern kingdom, even through all this time. Because again, the kingdom is divided at this time. We know this, right? Keep going.
Also, he remembered the injury of the children of Being, who had been a snare and also an offense unto the people, and that they lay in wait for them in the ways. He shut them up, therefore, in the towers, and encamped against them, and destroyed them utterly, and burned the towers of that place with fire, and all that were therein.
So remember, our people had fled to the secret places, to the caves, and they wouldn't fight, and they got burned alive. So now the script's gotten flipped now. So now we're doing that to all these other would-be oppressors now, right? All right, we're going to keep going.
Afterward, he passed over to the children of Ammon, where he found a mighty power and much people, with Timotheus their captain. So he fought many battles with them, till at length they were discomfited before him, and he smote them. And when he had taken YAH'S with the towns belonging thereto, he returned unto Judea. Then the heathen that were at Galilee assembled themselves together against the Israelites that were in their quarters to destroy them, but they fled to the fortress of Bethema, and sent letters unto Yah'S and his brethren. The heathen that are round about us are assembled together against us to destroy us.
Because we know that us coming back into the land, people are not going to be happy, because that means that we're back in our rightful place, right? Even back then, they did not want us back there, because they knew what that represented. Keep going.
And they are prepared to come and take the fortress whereunto we are fled, Timotheus being captain of their host. Come now, therefore, deliver us from their hands, for many of us are slain. Yes, all our brethren that were in the places of Tobi are put to death, their wives and their children. Also they have carried away captives, and borne away their stuff, and they have destroyed there about 1,000 men.
So you got men killed, women and children going into captivity. That's hell, or what you would call the children and women going into captivity, going into outer darkness. I keep hammering that so you can just see that every time you see us go into captivity, we're in outer darkness. Like right now, we're not even back in our land. So technically, we're living in the valley of the shadow of death. We're in outer darkness right now because we're in the four corners of the earth. Hell has enlarged itself, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, keep going.
While these letters were yet reading, behold, there came another messengers from Galilee with their clothes rent, who reported on this wise, and said they
Ptolemaeus
and of Tyrus and Zidon and all of Galilee of the Gentiles are assembled together against us to consume us.
Because we know that Galilee, because Mashiach, he went to Galilee in the New Testament, but it literally became known as Galilee of the Gentiles because of people getting replaced, and then the northern kingdom just wanted to be just like the heathen, right? That's just what it was. Read one more slide, Elder, and we'll pass that to Bam.
Now when Yah'S and the people heard these words, there assembled a great congregation together to consult what they should do for their brethren that were in trouble, and assaulted of them. Then said Yah'S unto Simon his brother, choose thee out men and go and deliver thy brethren that are in Galilee. For I and Jonathan, my brother, will go into the country of Galilee. So he left Joseph, the son of Zacharias, and Azarias, captains of the people, with the remnant of the host of Judea, to keep it. Unto whom he gave commandments, saying, take you the charge of this people, and see that you make not war against the heathen until the time that we come again.
So Yehuda, he is the man of the Most High at this time, right? He gave what? A commandment, a word. It's always better to be what? Obedient, right? Okay, keep going.
Now unto Simon were given 3,000 men to go into Galilee, and unto Yehudas 8,000 men for the country of Galilee.
Go ahead, Bam.
Then went Simeon unto Galilee, where he fought many battles with the heathens, so that the heathen were discomfited by him. And he pursued them until the gate of what's the Ptolemy's?
Arbatus? Wait, hold on, no.
22.
Oh, Ptolemais, yeah.
Ptolemy's, so the east side. Ptolemy's, and there were slain of the heathen about 3,000 men, whose spoils he took.
It's crazy because he was only given 3,000 people, and then they slayed that exact amount. That's wild. You come from a warrior race of people, right? Keep going.
And those that were in Galilee, and then Arbatus, with their wives and their children, and all they had, took he away with him, and brought them into Judea with great joy.
So he brought salvation to his people. Keep going.
Julius Maccabeus also and his brother Jonathan went over Jordan and traveled there 3 days journey in the wilderness, where they met with the
Nabathites.
who came unto them in a peaceable manner, and told them everything that had happened to their brethren in the land of Galilee.
The Nabathites were the Nabateans.
Excuse me, they were what now?
They're the Nabateans, or the Nabateans. They were like a smaller sect of Arabs, the original Arabs. But yeah.
And how that many of them were shut up in Bosora and Barso and Almeda and Casfor. Casfor Mark, this one.
Cast forward, make it.
And Carneum. All these cities are strong and great. Well, they are in the same areas.
Mm-hmm.
And then that they were shut up in the rest of the cities of the country of Gilead. And that against tomorrow they had appointed to bring their host against the forts, and to take them and to destroy them all in one day.
Right.
Hereupon Judas and his host turned suddenly by the way of the wilderness unto Bosora. I think that means garbage.
Hey, Basora, hey, that's the gospel, right? That's the good news, right? Okay.
Bosora. That was
the Basora of the kingdom.
I don't know, because in Spanish that means trash.
Tracks?
Basura, something like that. Trash.
Trash, okay.
I think it's something like that. It's kind of trash work anyway. And when he had won the city, he slew all of the males with the edge of the sword, and took all their spoils, and burned the city with fire.
Vengeance.
From whence he removed by night, and went till he came to the fortress. Bedtime. And at bedtime.
And betimes.
And betimes in the morning, they looked up, and behold, there were innumerable people bearing ladders and other engines of war to take on the fortress, for they assaulted.
So they was trying to take our people out, right?
I thought he told them don't do nothing to you.
Well, he told 2 people not to do nothing. So now he's going to these other places with his 8,000 men, trying to save our people.
Gotcha.
He's trying to bring salvation to the people. Yeah, because they were taking care of Judea. He told those 2 captains, "Hey, don't do nothing until we get back."
Gotcha.
Yep.
When Judas therefore saw that the battle was begun, and that the city and the crowd of the city went up into heaven with trumpets and a great sound, he said unto his host, "Fight this day for your brethren."
Fight for your family.
So he went forth behind them in 3 companies, who sounded their trumpets, and cried with prayer.
So even like in like the 1800s or whatever, the whole idea of fighting wars in 1700s with trumpets and all this, where do you think they got that stuff from? They got it from us, right? And they just remix stuff. But all this battle cries and trumpets and banners and all that stuff came from the ancient past, right? And well, again, we were a warrior race of men, but now they've got us so docile that we want to be gentlemen or Gentile men, right? And again, you got to be able to fight and willing to fight for your brother and for your family, because a black winter is coming. That's all I'm going to say. Keep going.
Is it going to be the cold one?
A black winter is coming, man.
So he went forth behind them. Yeah, they come to sound the trumpets and cried with prayer. Then the host of Timotheus, knowing that it was Maccabees, fled from him.
I'm telling you, because that dread and fear was on him. Like, oh, that's who. Oh, we got to go.
When Frey smote them with a great slaughter, so that there were killed of them that day about 8,000 men.
Now, he only had 8,000 men with him, and they killed the exact amount. That's wild. Keep going. That's when you know the most. So it was 3,000 and 8,000, and so that's what, 11, right? If you believe in numbers and numerology, like what they be trying to say, that's like the master number. Is what they try to say. But again, his brother was given 3, he was given 8, and they ain't lost nobody yet. And they killed the exact amount of people that they had with them.
This done, Judas turned aside from Mashpah to Mashpah. And after he had assaulted it,
Yeah, say it.
After he had assaulted it,
He took
and slew all the men therein, and received the spoils thereof, and then burnt it with fire.
They didn't want no smoke. Once they found out that was him, they got out of there.
Mashpah, that's a place.
That's a place, yeah. Yeah. That's a place.
Man, this stuff is some hard reading.
Oh yeah, it's old English, pretty much.
That shit was a new English. From this man he took Casphon, Maged, Gasur, and the other cities of the country of Gilead.
Yep.
So he's just going through Gilead and just turns.
He turning up. He said turn down for what?
From the root of
He went to go save his family.
So they had the people, they had them captive or something?
Yeah, so that they were besieging these different cities where our people were at. And so he just going around just being the battle axe, being the hammer. Yeah. That's why they call him Maccabees, saving his people. What are you going to say? Yeah, setting the captives free. The good news. The Basora, if you will.
Out of these things got
Timotheus,
another host, and encountered against Raphan beyond the brook. So he's chasing Timotheus pretty much.
Basically, everywhere he had, like, yeah, I want the smoke. He's like, yeah, I want the smoke. Yeah.
So Judas went in to spy, right?
Yeah, to spy the host.
Spy the host, who brought him word saying, all the heathen that be around about us are assembled unto them, even a very great host.
Because they scared, bro. Like, you got 11,000 men just beating everybody, bro.
And they both in Gilead. They got it Gilead. So they going, they just stand for it.
Bruh.
Gilead. He had also hired the
Arabs.
Arabians.
Yep.
To help them, and they have pitched their tents beyond the brook, ready to come and fight against thee. Upon this, Judah went to meet him with them.
So, but y'all just saw, even the Arabs was trying to help take us out. They got hired for it. They were mercenaries, but even they were coming against us.
The Israelites.
Right. The original Arabs, right.
Black folks.
Yeah.
Then Timothy said unto the captain of his host, when Judas and his host come near the brook, if he passed over first unto us, we shall not be able to withstand.
Look how scared they is.
For he will mightily prevail against us.
Okay, I'm going to read this one. But if he be afraid and camp beyond the river, we shall go over unto him and prevail against him. So now he just spoke this word. So let's see what kind of wisdom that Yehuda's Maccabees moves in. Now when Yehuda came near the brook, he caused the scribes of the people to remain by the brook, unto whom he gave commandments, saying, suffer no man to remain in the camp, but let all come to the battle. So they're going to go over there, just like that guy said, like won't be able to sustain them. So he went first over unto them, and all the people after him. Then all the heathen, being discomfited before him, cast away their weapons. They were that scared, and fled unto the temple that was at Carnaim. But they took the city and burned the temple with all that were therein. Thus Carnaim subdued, neither could they stand any longer before Yehuda. Then Yehuda gathered together all the Israelites that were in the country of Galaad, from the least unto the greatest, even their wives and their children and their stuff, a very great host, to the end that they might come into the land of Judea. So again, so when Mashiach came into this reality, the people were looking for the hammer. They were looking for Judah Maccabee, but that wasn't the way he was supposed to come then, right? In the so-called New Testament. So we go real quick to Luke 1, and I'm just going to show y'all this in Luke 1 again. I know we know this, starting in verse 67 through verse 79. And his father, Zacharias, was filled with the Ruach HaKodesh and prophesied, saying, blessed be Yahuwah of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and have raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the land of all that hate us. So again, this is in Luke 1. This is a part of what they call the gospel. This is the actual salvation that is going to happen when Mashiach actually comes back in the end time, right? In the end of the end times. This is what the whole nation of Israel was looking forward to, especially in this time of the rededication of the temple. And I'm going to keep saying this, a black winter is coming, so be prepared. Just there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that people aren't really paying attention to, right? But we got to be prepared and be ready, because again, this was the salvation. They weren't looking just for, because later on it'll talk about the spiritual connotation of this salvation, right? So we'll keep going. Then he says in verse 72, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant. Notice how they don't say multiple covenants there. Holy covenant. The oath which he sware to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us, that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear. Okay. So when you get into the mind frame of the Inquisitions, could we serve the Creator without fear? No.
Not right now.
Well, no, I'm talking about it, right? Because this is just an extension of the Inquisition. We can't serve him without fear. We can't do any of the custom. You get caught sacrificing animals, you can get put in jail, literally, right? We cannot do the things that we would normally do. We are out of order now, because we're in the lands of our captivities. We're in hell. That's why Mashiach has to come to the grave or to hell to deliver us in the end. Right, and people they don't even understand that concept, because you got to think that's when the dry bones fully wake up and are fully restored. Right, that's a whole resurrection. Go ahead.
It's even right now how serious it is. They're worried that that's why it's not good to really talk when you're on a job.
Yep.
About really politics or what they say religion.
Mm-hmm.
The truth, our truth. We should say it. They put it like that, emphasize that, because people will, just like you say, that you don't eat the swine. First thing,
You Muslim?
They're going to be coming up there and trying to formulate something. Well, how come you don't partake in that, or even Christmas, or any of that kind of stuff? They're gonna question that. Oh, you must be one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like every time when I was working either at the two of my last place I was working at, they was like, "What are you, Muslim?" I'm like, "No, I believe in the book. Like that's what the book say."
I read the Bible, the child read.
Yeah, it say don't do it, we ain't gonna do it.
I read the Bible, the child get.
Yeah. Clearly, I ain't reading all the laws in the way. But show me that in the text. Like
It doesn't say.
it ain't there. It's made up.
Like this is, I gotta tell you, side note. I said it's amazing how the Most High can be verbatim and does say the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
and then you take a speculation of what the Messiah said. I said, how does that work? When he said, I'm coming to my father's business, his father was head on hit. Hit the nail on the head, don't miss. But then you take, like I said, the Messiah didn't miss either, but like I said, you take a speculation, what you assume that he said.
Because of Paul, though.
Yeah.
Because they major in Paul, and they have no understanding of Paul.
Exactly.
And then, so from the lens of what they think Paul is saying, because they don't read Acts to go along with his letters, well, then this clearly is what the Messiah meant. Like, no, you don't filter the Messiah through Paul. That's backward. That stuff is crazy.
And that's what I was saying. Like,
It's wild.
And it's just like trying to understand. I said, you can't understand calculus in chapter 5. Like, you got to go back to algebra to understand calculus. You know, probably I don't know what calculus is, but I know it's still right. But you can't just start in calculus
Yeah, it's not
and be a
fun.
mathematician.
Yeah.
So why do people want to skip over everything that happened from the beginning of time and then pretty much right at the brink of, right before the death of the Messiah, and after that, that's when you want to start to believe.
Yeah.
All that was before Jesus died. It doesn't matter if he died or not. It's the same.
Yesterday, today,
And
and forever. The stuff be so wild, and then because we know we talked about the slave Bible and how like they're so slick because in the cat like if you buy a Catholic Bible, these books are in there. It's only like the Christian Bibles, quote unquote, here in America, to where people have no idea of this history. Like, yeah, that's why they would talk in code, peace and safety, all this other type stuff, because of what they learned with dealing with the enemy, especially the Greco-Roman world, right? But if you don't have this history, you just be, oh, okay, oh yeah, all right, well, we're all one in Christ. You don't know what you're talking about. Like,
One more thing.
go ahead.
You know how we was to rap lyrics. I was just thinking when you was talking. It was like they talking code. The rap lyrics, they were like, oh, it's a double entendre. It's a triple entendre.
Yeah.
That's how Messiah spoke.
Facts. Bars.
He spoke like that, like you said, but if you like, a lot of people don't understand, they don't like Kendrick or Eminem because they don't understand their lyrics.
Yeah.
But that's how it is. Like, if you don't know what it is, it's not going to be palatable to you.
Right.
And sometimes it might seem a little harsh to you.
You can't digest it, right?
You can't digest it.
So we know you ain't chewing the cud. We know they ain't chewing the cud. Might serve him without fear in holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life. That has not happened for a nation yet, for us yet. And you, child, shall be called the prophet of the highest, for you shall go before the face of the master to prepare his ways. This is talking about Yehukanan the Immerser. To give knowledge of salvation unto his people by the remissions of sin. So that is the spiritual connotation, right? Through the tender mercy of our Elohim, whereby the dayspring from on high have visited us, to give light to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death. That's where we are now. To guide our feet into the way of peace, right? So we're going to go back to first Maccabees 5. Because literally what Yehuda Maccabees is doing is he's setting up a peace, right? He's trying to lead his people in the way of peace, to be able to serve your creator the way that we were intended to serve him, right? So now when they came up to Ephron, this was a great city in the way as they should go. Very well fortified. They cannot turn from it either on the right hand or the left, but must needs pass through the midst of it. Then they of the city shut them out and stopped up the gates with stones. Whereupon Yehuda sent unto them in peaceable manner, saying, let us pass through your land to go into our own country, and none shall do you any hurt. We will only pass through on foot. Howbeit, they would not open unto them. Everybody was scared of us at that point, unto him. Wherefore Yehudas commanded a proclamation to be made throughout the host, that every man should pitch his tent in the place where he was. So the soldiers pitched and assaulted the city all that day and all that night. You talk about being in shape all day and night. Till at the length the city was delivered into his hands, who then slew all the males with the edge of the sword, and razed the city, which means destroyed it or took it down, and took the spoils thereof, and passed through the city over them that were slain. After this went they over Jordan into the great plain before Bethsan. And Yehuda gathered together those that came behind, and exhorted the people all the way through till they came into the land of Judea. So they went up to Mount Zion with joy and gladness, where they offered burnt offerings, because not one of them were slain until they had returned in peace. So again, they went around killing everybody and didn't lose one person, because the Most High was with his people. He's going to be with us the same way, because when Yah's with you, who can stand against you? Nobody. Now, what time as Yehuda and Jonathan were in the land of Gilead, and Simon his brother in Galilee before Ptolemais, Joseph, the son of Zacharias, and Azarias, captains of the garrisons, heard of the valiant acts and warlike deeds which they had done. Wherefore they said, let us also get us a name and go fight against the heathen that are round about us. Should they be going to go do that? Were they not given the commandment to stay in Judea? So when they had given charge unto the garrison that was with them, they went toward Jamnia. Then came Gorgias and his men out of the city to fight against them. And so it was that Joseph and Azarias were put to flight and pursued unto the borders of Judea. And there was slain that day of the people about 2,000 men. All because two guys wanted to get a name, right? Because they didn't want to be obedient when the word came forth. All they had to do was stay their little butts there, and 2,000 people would still be alive. So when the word goes forth, we got to be obedient. That's the main thing behind this thing. And when you're reading in the Maccabees, this becomes an uncomfortable pattern of our people. They don't want to listen to nobody. They don't. Thus was there a great overthrow among the children of Israel, because they were not obedient unto Yehuda and his brethren, but thought to do some valiant act. Moreover, these men came not of the seed of those by whose hand deliverance was given unto Israel. Howbeit the man Yehuda and his brethren were greatly renowned in the sight of all Israel and of all the heathen, wheresoever their name was heard of, insomuch as the people assembled unto them with joyful acclamations. Afterward went Yehuda forth with his brethren, and fought against the children of Esau again in the land toward the south, where he smote Hebron and the towns thereof, and pulled down the fortress of it, and burned the towers thereof round about. From thence he removed to go into the land of the Philistines, and passed through Samaria. At that time, be quiet. At that time, certain priests, desirous to show their valor, were slain in battle, for that they went out to fight unadvisedly. So other priests are just going out there to go fight too. So Yehuda turned to Azotus in the land of the Philistines, and when he had pulled down their altars and burned their carved images with fire and spoiled their cities, he returned into the land of Judea.
Burned the carved images. We burned the image of white Jesus.
Well, that was before that construct, but yeah, images of some deity more than likely. And you see that this is a warrior race of people. Again, nobody's telling nobody to go out and fight. But I'm telling y'all, be vigilant, man, because Trump and them, they think they slick. They really think they slick. And we're going to get into it here in a little bit. So first, Maccabees 6. Whoever wants to read, go ahead.
About that time, King Antiochus, that's right.
Antiochus
traveling through the high. So I thought he was just following somebody else.
Huh?
So both of these are the two different kings, right? Timotheus.
This is like in Antiochus that it went to go and get riches. So remember, he had divided his kingdom, and he sent his emissaries to try to go and take Judea. Mm-hmm. So he goes to Persia, and he goes and tries to basically take that over and take all their wealth, because remember, he had paid his army for a year. And then he's out of wealth, so he's gone, right? So now he's getting worried about all this stuff. Now he's not. So we haven't even been dealing with this entire because this is the original one, right? So he also had a son that had the same name. That's why you're getting confused, gotcha. Right? And that was getting raised up to be a future king. But no, this is the elder, and what's called Antiochus the elder. We'll just say that.
traveling through the high countries, heard say that Elymas,
Mm-hmm.
Elymas in the country of Persia was a city greatly renowned for riches, silver, and gold. And there was a very rich temple, wherein were carvings of gold and breastplates and shields which Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian king, who reigned first among the Grecians, had left there.
Mm-hmm.
So Alexander left all this stuff, or did he die?
He died. Remember, he died, and he divided his kingdom up into
Oh,
four
no, 'cause
of
he
his
was-
friends,
he was
right?
cool with the,
Mm-hmm.
okay, kind of like the Joseph story. Wherefore he came and sought out.
Stop throwing stuff.
Wherefore he came and sought to take the city and to spoil it, but he was not able because they of the city, having had warning thereof, rose up against him in battle. So he fled and departed thence with great heaviness and returned to Babylon. Moreover, there came one who brought him tidings into Persia, that the armies which went against the land of Judea were put to flight, and that
Lysias.
Lysias, who went forth with a great power, was driven away of the Jews, and that they were made strong by the armor and power and stored up spoils which they had gotten.
Sit down.
They had gotten of the armies whom they had destroyed. So they're going back to him pretty much. And these folks got a lot of stuff over here too.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they that had pulled down the abomination, that's the destination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which he had set up upon the altar in Jerusalem, and that they had compassed about the sanctuary with high walls as before. And his city was
Beth Shores.
that's good. Now when the king heard these words, he was astonished and sore moved. Whereupon he laid him down upon his bed and fell sick of grief, because it had not befallen him as he looked for. What would that mean?
So he thought it was going to be easy. It was going to be sweet. He was just going to take everything, and that divided army that he gave to his lieutenant or whatever, they was going to take everything over. It was just going to be smooth sailing. But he went to Persia. He failed. His lieutenant went to try to go take over Judea. They failed. Right. So it's just failure after failure. And so he's just like, why is everything bad happening to me? Right.
Yeah. I ain't gonna tell no story. Like I thought only women made themselves through scripture. Like they got so upset that they got sick. And so he fell sick with the grief.
Oh, you talking about because of that woman dealing with Joseph? That's what you talking about?
There was another lady who was Sarah. She died because she worried about her son. So,
yeah, that's true. Because of the enemy. Mm-hmm.
And killed him for. Anyway, and there he continued many days, for his grief was ever more and more, and he made a count that he should die.
Mm-hmm.
I don't never want to be sick to death.
Nope.
I never want to be that time.
Nope.
Wherefore he called for all his friends and said unto them, the sleep is gone from mine eyes, and my heart faileth for every care. So he giving up. And I thought with myself, into what tribulation am I come? And how great of a flood of misery is it? Wherein now I am, for I was bountiful and beloved in my power. But now I remember the evils that I did at Jerusalem, and that I took all the vessels of gold and silver that were therein, and sent to destroy the inhabitants of Judea without a cause. So now he repented. I perceive therefore that for this cause these troubles are come upon me, and behold, I perish through great grief in a strange land.
And so I made one mistake in yesterday's lesson. I said a year to the date that we rededicated the temple. No, they actually had control of the temple for about 3 years, right? And it actually fulfills technically Daniel's prophecy. So when they're talking about this stuff that's going to happen like later, way on, according to even Josephus' writings, that was actually fulfilled during this time period of the Maccabees, right? Okay.
Then called he Philip, one of his friends, who he made ruler over all the realm. That's what you call something like
Who?
Alexander, daddy, or this another, they're not connected.
No, they're not connected.
And gave him the crown and his robe and his, what's this?
Signet.
Signet with the staff.
Like sign, like a lot of times I think they used to have like a ring that had like a mark on it or a seal or something, and you would use that to sign stuff.
Gotcha. To the end that he should bring up his son Antiochus and nourish him up for the kingdom.
You see, they have the same name.
Gotcha.
So now he promotes Philip to king, so he'll raise his son to be the future king. Right?
Gotcha.
Okay. One more slide, Bam.
So King Antiochus died there in the 149th year. Now when Lysias knew that the king was dead, he set up Antiochus his son, whom he had brought up being young, to reign in his stead, and his name he called
Eupator.
Eupator. You know what I mean by that?
No.
About this time, that were in the tower shut up up to the Israelites round about sanctuary and sought always their hurts and the strengthening of the heathen. Wherefore Judea's proposal to destroy them called all the people together to besiege them. So that they came together and besieged them in the 150th year, and he made mounts for shot against them and other enemies.
Okay. Who's going to read next? So Eupator just means that you're of a noble family or noble father.
So that's the Maccabee. You just saw a picture of what I was doing.
Yeah, going forward on this one. Yep. Yehuda Maccabee, and they're creating some stuff.
Howbeit certain of them that were besieged their fort,
Be
unto
quiet.
whom some ungodly men of Israel joined themselves. And they went unto the king and said, How long will it be here thou execute judgment and avenge our brethren? We have been willing to serve thy father and to do as he would have us, and to obey his commandments.
We always got sellouts. It don't matter. Matter of fact, in some of the battles in the first 3 or 4 chapters, the guides that were bringing them to where we were at in the secret places and all this other type of stuff were our own wicked people. Like, this stuff is wild. I'm like, man, y'all have no sense of nationality.
You said Revelation.
Uh-huh.
With Nathan.
Yeah. I saw that one. Yep.
What happened?
For which cause they of our nation besiege the tower, and are alienated from us. Moreover, as many of us they could light on, they slew, and spoiled our inheritance. Neither have they stretched out their hand against us only, but also against their borders. And behold, this day, they are besieging the tower of Jerusalem, to take it, the sanctuary also, and Bethur have they fortified. Wherefore, if thou dost not prevail them quickly, they will do the greater things than these. Neither shalt thou be able to rule them. Now when the king heard this, he was angry, and gathered together all his friends and the captains of his army, and those that had charge of the horse. There came also unto him from other kingdoms, and from isles of the sea, bands of hired soldiers, mercenaries, so that the number of his army was 100,000 footmen and 20,000 horsemen, and 230 elephants exercised in battle.
So they bringing everybody for us, man. Bro, they like everything, including the kitchen sink. They look,
On everybody else.
because we were a problem. We were a big problem.
These went through Arabia and pitched against Bessora, which they assaulted many days, making engines of war. But they of Bessora came out and burned them with fire and fought valiantly. Upon this, Yehudis removed from the tower and pitched in Bath Zacharias over against the king's camp. Then the king, rising very early, marched fiercely with his host toward Bath Zacharias, where his armies made them ready to battle and sounded trumpets. And to end, they might provoke the elephants to fight. They shewed them with blood of grapes and mulberries. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, they divided the beasts among the armies, and for every elephant they appointed 1,000 men armed with coats of mail and with helmets of brass on their heads. And beside this, for every beast were ordained 500 horsemen of the beast, of the best.
Mm-hmm.
These were ready at every occasion. Wheresoever the beast was, and wheresoever the beast went, they went also. Neither departed they from him. And upon the beast were the strong towers of wood, which covered every one of them. And those are girt fast unto them with devices. There was also upon every one 32 strong men that fought upon them, beside the Indian that ruled them.
So these beasts would have 32 people on them, with the Indian ruling over them. Go ahead.
Question on that last part of the paragraph there. Beside the Indian that ruled them, I'm curious, would this be like kind of so-called, not talking about the American Indians, but about like the Elamites?
Yeah.
Indians that
Yeah.
were
Yeah, the
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
Indians, because like the people over here should never have been called Indians. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, just curious.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
As for the remnant of the horsemen, they set them on the side, and that side at the two parts of the host, giving them signs of what to do. And being harnessed all over amidst the ranks. Now when the sun shone upon the shields of gold and brass, the mountains glistened therewith, and shined like lamps of fire. So part of the king's army being spread upon the high mountains, and part of the valleys below, they marched on safely and in order.
Okay, I'm gonna read for a little bit. Okay, so wherefore all that heard the noise of their multitude, and the marching of their company, and the rattling of the harness, were moved, for the army was very great and mighty. Then Yehuda and his host drew near, and entered into battle, and there were slain of the king's army 600 men. Eleazar also, surnamed Savaran, perceiving that one of the beasts armed with royal harness was higher than all the rest, supposing that the king was upon him, put himself in jeopardy to the end that he might deliver his people and get him a perpetual name. Wherefore he ran upon him courageously through the midst of the battle, slaying on the right hand and on the left, so that they were divided from him on both sides. Which done, he crept under the elephant and thrust him under and slew him. Whereupon the elephant fell down upon him, and there he died. Rest in peace. But he killed it though. Howbeit the rest of the Yahudim, seeing the strength of the king, and the violence of his forces, turned away from them. Then the king's army went up to Jerusalem to meet them. And the king pitched his tents against Judea and against Mount Zion. But with them that were in Bethsura he made peace, for they came out of the city, because they had no victuals there to endure the siege, it being a year of rest to the land. So the king took Bethsura and set a garrison there to keep it. As for the sanctuary, he besieged it many days, and set there artillery with engines and instruments to cast fire and stones, and pieces to cast darts and slings. Whereupon they also made engines against their engines, and held them battle a long season. Yet at the last, their vessels being without victuals, for that it was the 7th year, and they in Judea that were delivered from the Gentiles had eaten up the residue of the store. There were but a few left in the sanctuary, because the famine did so prevail against them, that they were fain to disperse themselves, every man to his own place. At that time Lysias heard say that Philip, whom Antiochus the king, whilst he lived, had appointed to bring up his son Antiochus, that he might be king. So all this stuff is happening. They're besieging Jerusalem. Certain of our people have made peace with them. Was returned out of Persia and Media, and the king's host also that went with him, and that he sought to take unto him the ruling of the affairs. Wherefore he went in all haste, and said to the king and the captains of the host and the company, We decay daily, and our victuals are but small, and the place we lay siege unto us strong, and the affairs of the kingdom lie upon us. Now therefore let us be friends with these men, and make peace with them with all their nation. They wanted peace. And covenant with them that they shall live after their laws, as they did before. For they are therefore displeased, and have done all these things, because we abolished their laws. So the king and the princes were content. Wherefore he sent unto them to make peace, and they accepted thereof. Because again, we was going around whooping everybody.
They say BTA.
Bruh, yeah, Belter. Belter, come fly Belter. Yeah, that's what it was.
Hey,
Huh?
you know, it was like a strong men, it was a couple of slides back, but it was like strong men that was up on the beast and all that. You know what that meant?
I just think
Google it. So like in biblical references, it means two things.
you talking about the Gibberine, or
No. It just said that was Google, I say. But it was said a strong man typically means Satan of the men that he has rule over or something like that. Pretty much evil
yeah.
men.
But buying the strong man. Okay, I know where that's coming from.
But
Yeah.
like, and certain times it also mean quite literally like a strong man. And I'm like, that's because they're going against. I'm like,
Yeah,
makes sense.
there's no telling, bro, because like they going down and they're destroying all kinds of altars and temples and everything else. So there's no telling. Ain't no telling. Also, the king and the princes made an oath unto them, whereupon they went out of the stronghold. But you can't trust your enemy. Never trust your enemy. Then the king entered into Mount Zion. But when he saw the strength of the place, he broke his oath that he had made, and gave commandment to pull down the wall round about. Because look, they was trying to get through and they couldn't get through that thing. Afterward, departed he in all haste and returned unto Antioch, where he found Philip to be master of the city. So he fought against him and took the city by force. So now, First Maccabees 7, my bad. So now we're going to talk about this Black Winter. We got a few slides and we'll talk about it. So whoever wants to read, go ahead.
In the 150th year, Demetrius, the son of Seleucus, departed from Rome, and came up with a few men unto the city of the seacoast, and reigned there. And he, as he entered into the place of his ancestors, so it was that his forces had taken Antiochus and Lysias to bring them unto him. Wherefore, when he knew it, he said, let me not see their faces. So his host slew them. And now when Demetrius was set upon the throne of his kingdom, there came unto him all the wicked and the ungodly, men of Israel, the sellouts,
Man.
having Alchemist, who was
Desirous.
desirous to be high priest for them, for their captain. And they accused the people to the king, saying, Yehudis and his brothers have slain all thy friends and driven us out of our own land. Now therefore send some man whom thou trustest, and let him go and see what havoc he hath made among us, and in the king's land, and let him punish them with all that aid them. Then the king chose Belshazzar, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, friend of the king, who ruled beyond the flood, and was a great man in the kingdom, and faithful to the king. And him he sent with wicked Alchemias, who he had made high priest, and commanded that he should take vengeance of the children of Israel. So they departed and came with great power unto the land of Judea, where they sent messengers to Yehudis and his brethren with peaceful words deceitfully.
Never trust your enemy.
But they gave heed.
No
They
heed.
gave no heed to their words, for they saw that their word come with a great power. Then did there assemble unto Alchemius and Belshazzar a company of scribes to require justice. Now the Assaneans were the first among the children of Israel that sought peace of them. For they said said they, one that is a priest of the seed of Aaron is come with this army, and he will do us no wrong. So he spoke unto them peaceably, and swore unto them, saying, we will procure the harm neither of you nor your friends. Whereupon they believed him. Howbeit he took of them 80 men, and slew them in one day, according to the words which he wrote.
So this concept of peace and safety, this is where they get it from. So in one day, he ends up killing 60 people.
Our people.
Yeah, our people, right. You can't trust the Greco-Roman Empire, man. You can't do it. Keep going.
The flesh of the saints they have cast out, and their blood have they shed round about Jerusalem, and there was none to bury them. Wherefore the fear and the dread of them fell upon all the people, who said, there is neither truth nor righteousness in these people, for they have broken the covenant and the oath they made. Man, sounds like
America?
Yes, sir. After this, removed Bacchus from Jerusalem and pitched his tents in Bezek, where he sent and took many of them that had forsaken him, and certain of the people also. And when he had slain them, he cast them into a great pit. Then committed he the country to Alchemius, and left with him a power to aid him. So Bacchus went to the king.
Right. Bam, you got this? Shh.
Alchemists contended for the high priesthood.
What did you say? He needs to be quiet. He needs to be quiet.
And until him restored all such and the terrible, the people who after they had gotten the land of Judah into the power, did not hurt in Israel. Now when Judas saw all the mischief that Alchemist and his company had done among the Israelites, even above the heathen, he went out into all the coast of Judea around about and took vengeance of them that he revolted from them. He had revolted from him, so that they durst pray.
Mm-hmm.
No more, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
No more go forth into the country. On the other side, when Alchemist saw that Judas and his company had gotten the upper hand and knew that he was not able to abide their force, he went again to the king and said all the worst of them that he could.
That's what they do.
Then the king sent
Nicanor.
Nicanor, one of his honorable princes, a man that bare deadly hate unto Israel, the commandment to destroy thy people, with commandment to destroy thy people. So was he an Israelite? Did he say he hated Israel?
No, he wasn't Israelite.
It was like thy people. All the people tripping. I don't know where they might come from. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So Nicanor came into Jerusalem with a great force and sent unto Judas and his brethren deceitfully with friendly words, saying, "Oh, let there be no battle between me and you. I will come with a few men that I may see you in peace." He came therefore to Judas, and they saluted one another peaceably. Howbeit the enemies were prepared to take away Judas by violence. Which thing after it was known to Judas, to wit, that he came unto him with deceit, he was sore afraid of him, and he would see his face no more.
That's just wicked, boy. Talking about peace and safety.
But just like the second time, they just said they wanted peace and they would.
Right, but like, so the people did, but he still hadn't seen Judah Maccabee at the time. So where he was at, he may not have gotten all of the word of all this information yet.
Mm-hmm.
So then he's thinking like this guy just wants to like just talk peaceably because he been busting their head, and next thing you know, the guy's actually trying to kill him. What you gonna say?
Well, right here's the thing. I kind of just, it kind of just dawned on me right now, and I've been digressed too long, but you know, collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, during wartime conflict, it kind of makes me just think, man. Like I said, this came to me, the ruach. That's my mind on this. How many of our brothers, man, that they knew that there's a sentiment, you know, let's dispose of these Negroes. You know, we got to have some collateral damage before we can go ahead and, you know, kind of have kind of throw the enemy off or something. How many of us did they use, man, and sacrifice to go, you know, for an objective, man, in war? Because they weren't, you know, this can be broken. You know, instead of them, those Negroes is disposable. You know, were they going to use, you know, some other, you know, if you had to go ahead and, you know, have a plan of action like that, you know, you couldn't use or divide it up with some of the other troops.
I mean, like, sometimes you got to fill out like the power that you're going against. So of course you don't send your best troops out necessarily in the beginning of a war or a fight or a battle and whatnot. So to an extent, yeah. And I mean, David did it. So that's what he did to what's her name's husband. Sent him out. He was collateral damage because he wanted to have her as his wife. So it does happen in Israel. I'm not gonna say that it's never happened because again, King David did it. So I'm just saying. Yeah.
Nicanor also, when he saw that his counsel was discovered, went out to fight against Judas beside
Kefor Salama.
Kefor Salama. Where there was slain of Nicor's side about 5,000. You said you come with a few men. That was probably 5,000.
Yeah.
5,000 men, and the rest fled into the city. So he brought more.
Yeah, it was over $5,000. Yeah, he brought 5,000. Oh, he brought at least minimum 5,001 at least.
Yeah, at least after this went the court up to Mount Sinai, and there came out of the sanctuaries certain of the priests and certain of the elders of the people to salute him peaceably and to show him the burnt sacrifice that was offered for the king. I thought they took I thought Maccabees took the temple back.
They did, remember, but they made that peace with them. And the king, when he came into Mount Zion, what did he do? He took down the wall and all this other side stuff because he saw how fortified it was, remember?
He took it down, okay. But he mocked them and laughed at them and abused them shamefully and spake proud and swore in his wrath, saying, unless Judas and his host be now delivered into my hand, if ever I come again in safety, I will burn up this house. And with that, he went out in a great rage.
So he just got 5,000 people killed, got whooped on. He gonna come to our temple, and then he's just gonna mock our priests and threaten to burn this mug down, right? So I keep saying a black winter is coming. So when I'm saying that, do y'all know what I'm talking about?
I do not. Blackout.
Okay, so fair use, this is for educational and training purposes. So remember I told y'all yesterday that on Christmas, Trump and them bombed Nigeria, right? Okay, so I'm gonna show y'all what they're claiming. All right, fair use is for educational and training purposes.
Breaking news this morning, we are learning new details about the deadly strike operation that President Trump says he ordered on Islamic State terrorists in Nigeria. Listen to this. Breaking news this morning, we are learning new details about the deadly strike operation that President Trump says he ordered on Islamic State terrorists in Nigeria. Listen to this. That, as you can see, released from the Department of Defense yesterday evening. The U.S. military reports multiple ISIS terrorists were killed in the attack, which the president first announced on social media. This comes after the president for months has warned that the United States could take military action in the African nation, claiming that ISIS had been targeting Christians in the region. The president writing in part this on social media about it. I have previously warned that these terrorists, that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight, he goes on to say, the Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Now, Nigeria confirmed the two countries coordinated in this effort, in this strike. Their foreign minister joined CNN earlier this morning.
What took place yesterday clearly underscores the fact that Nigeria is not lacking in will and a commitment to the fight against terrorism.
CNN's Nada Bashir tracking this one for us. Nada, what is the very latest that you're picking up?
Well, we're still not getting full details just yet from U.S. officials with regards to the details surrounding this strike. What we do know is the U.S. Africa Command has said that multiple Islamic State targets and militants were killed overnight in these deadly strikes. We've heard, as you mentioned, from the U.S. president himself addressing this military action in social media, saying and describing this as a powerful and deadly strike against Islamic State terrorists. And this strike took place in the northern Sokoto region of Nigeria, just bordering Niger. Now, at this stage, again, no clear details with regards to the impact. What we do know is that this was carried out in coordination with the Nigerian government. We've heard from a Nigerian presidential spokesperson and advisor saying that both the US and Nigeria are on the same page when it comes to tackling these security concerns. And of course, what we've been hearing from the White House for several weeks now and from the US president himself is the ramping up of concern around the protection of Nigeria's Christian community against extremist attacks. And it's important to note and underscore that, of course, Nigeria does have a deep-rooted history of security troubles when it comes to Islamist extremist groups. But these attacks that we have seen in the past have targeted both Nigeria's Christian and Muslim communities, two of the largest religious communities in the country. So this is certainly a historic concern within the country, but we are now seeing very clearly that first-hand action by the US military in Nigeria, according to officials, in coordination with the Nigerian government.
Nada, thank you so much. Much more detail to learn here for sure. Appreciate it.
And the president warning, of course, there could be more to come in Nigeria, writing on Truth Social to the, quote, dead terrorists, warning there will be, in his words, many more if the slaughter of Christians continues. Joining me now.
Okay, if y'all believe that, okay, just keep watching.
In the group chat, Sungmin Kim, CNN political analyst and White House reporter at the Associated Press, Ashley Davis, former George W. Bush White House official, and Eugene Scott, contributing columnist at the Boston Globe and visiting fellow at the Johns Hopkins University Agora Institute. It's nice to see all of you this morning. Sungmin, when we look at where things stand, the fact that the president really has cast himself as this peacemaker often talks about the wars that he says that he has ended, and yet we are seeing this approach not just in Nigeria, but in other pockets around the world. How do we square what we hear from the president and what we see on the ground?
Well, how the administration squares it is that this is all part of President Trump's strategy, his foreign policy doctrine of peace through strength, obviously. However, you have, on the one hand, you have, him touting all the conflicts that he has helped resolve abroad, but then you see a lot of offensive military action abroad. And, his aides don't see that necessarily as a contradiction. They say that part of keeping broader peace is making sure that these targets abroad know that the U.S. is willing to strike if necessary. But I also think that this is a contradiction that you're going to be hearing on Capitol Hill, particularly as it relates to these strikes and the strikes that we've been seeing elsewhere in the country. You had the Pentagon saying yesterday that they did this in coordination with Nigeria's government. However, you're already starting to hear from Capitol Hill. What about coordination with us? Is this something that lawmakers should have authorized? And I think that tension, that conflict, is also what we're going to be hearing in the next coming weeks.
Yeah, one would anticipate that, especially we'll likely hear a little bit of it today, but certainly once lawmakers return from their recess. It's also interesting, the president this is not the first time he has called out what he says are targeted attacks on Christians. It's important to note the country itself is about split between Christian and Muslim faith, and the data doesn't necessarily support the president's claim that Christians are being disproportionately targeted. Ashley, this has been, though religious persecution has been a really animating subject matter, if you will, for many conservatives. Does it matter to them that the data doesn't line up? Because that is a significant issue.
Well, good morning, Erica. Nice to see you, and hope everyone had a great Christmas. But I think that it's really important that we need to realize that there's two things. One, that we did coordinate with the government of Nigeria, and two, Nigeria is a really complicated country that we've been dealing with. I mean, I'm a national security hawk, go back to George Bush administration. There's been terrorist breeding in that region for a long time. What I just learned this morning was the fact that we coordinated, which makes it less complicated than before. But I'm very happy that the administration is actually striking in abroad rather than them coming and striking us in our country. In regards to the Christian and Muslim controversies, I mean, we don't know what we don't know. It's so complicated. There's a lot of national security complications that are overlaid between the two groups, that the ISIS and terrorist groups are hiding behind the Muslim religion. And so I think that we need to be very cautious that this is, including with the president, that this is a religious attack.
Yeah, caution definitely advised. I will just say, just based on our reporting, the data does not support the claims that Christians are being disproportionately targeted. To your point, there are a number of disputes internally. It's not just religious, it's communal. It has to do with ethnic tensions, farmer-herder disputes. There's a lot happening in Nigeria specifically. You know, when we look at Eugene, when we look at the way that this is playing out, well, we're also looking at new movement off the coast of Venezuela. What does this tell you about the focus moving forward when it comes to not just where the U.S. is leaning in internationally, but what it could mean in terms of support domestically when there are these questions continually raised about Congress and even notifications?
Well, that is one of the main questions many lawmakers have, including some on the right. There seems to not be some
support that the Christians are really getting killed like that. And then they said, well, we don't know what we don't know. But you want to go bomb someplace? In Nigeria. In Africa, where a lot of us came from. So go ahead, say what you're going to say.
I'm just sickening that this is our reality. Like, we
Yeah.
got this clown. Mm-hmm. Like you said, like he ain't talking to nobody of importance, but he on Twitter, on social media, and making wild accusations. Like your statements don't even be.
He didn't even go through Congress. He just did it by himself.
Almost everything he said is a lie, bro. You fact check everything he said. He happened.
And then you can tell just the way his sentences are formulated. Like it shows you something wrong with dude. And they put him in the
Breaking news this morning. We are learning new details.
Yeah, no, they did.
It's like he's trying to be the president
So
of peace for some reason.
that's what he calls himself. That's what he called himself, the president of peace, right? So the reason why this is partly titled Dark Winter is because of Ibrahim Traore.
Yeah.
He had a speech not too long ago where he talks about there is a black winter coming. And I'm going to show y'all this speech. Huh?
That's our brother's words?
Yeah.
Je vais m'excuser encore une fois de plus auprès de ceux que mes mots pourraient vexer, parce que je n'irai pas par le dos de la cuillère. Nous allons nous attaquer encore aux mots qui miment l'Afrique. Vous avez certainement tous déjà entendu parler du printemps arabe. Ce phénomène qui a bouleversé la géopolitique du monde arabe, en commençant par le Maghreb, en Afrique et jusqu'en Asie, qui s'est manifesté avec des conséquences souvent désastreuses, des morts et des divisions par endroits, et des bouleversements politiques sans précédent dans d'autres endroits. Et je pense que tous les Africains devraient comprendre qu'est-ce que c'est que ce phénomène, d'où il vient, et qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire pour se prémunir d'un tel phénomène. Malheureusement, nous sommes au regret de constater que certains Africains ne se réveillent pas. Et ce que je vais dire n'est que ma pensée à moi, mon analyse, c'est qu'il y a quelque chose qui vient sur l'Afrique de l'Ouest, que j'ai appelé l'hiver noir. L'hiver noir arrive. Il sera un hiver très froid, un hiver sanglant, un hiver meurtrier. Vous allez me poser des questions, pourquoi? Eh bien, en fondant la Confédération de l'YAH'S, nous avons senti ce froid venir. Et tous les jours que Dieu fait, nous nous évertuons à trouver des troncs d'arbres pour allumer un feu qui va réchauffer le cœur des Africains, un feu qui va réchauffer les mentalités et le sang des Africains pour nous unir autour. Nous nous sommes évertués également à faire la chasse aux loups pour essayer d'utiliser leur peau pour faire des manteaux pour nous protéger du froid de l'hiver. Nous nous sommes évertués à construire des montagnes, de grandes montagnes pour briser le vent de l'hiver qui devrait s'abattre sur nos communautés. Malheureusement, force est de constater que certains Noirs sont là tous les jours à arroser nos troncs d'arbres d'eau fraîche pour qu'ils ne puissent pas brûler. Ils se transforment en loups ou font en sorte que nous, chasseurs de loups, nous ne puissions pas surprendre le loup. Lorsque nous voulons construire nos montagnes, ils brisent les cailloux pour que nous ne puissions pas arriver. Pourtant, l'hiver arrive. Et quand l'hiver viendra, devrions-nous permettre à ceux-là qui combattent de venir se protéger avec nos manteaux qu'on a confectionnés, avec les montagnes qu'on a construites pour nous protéger des vents, ou encore se réchauffer avec nous autour du feu. Telle est la question qu'il faut qu'on se pose. Qu'adviendra-t-il donc du panafricanisme quand l'hiver viendra? L'hiver viendra parce que la guerre se transporte en Afrique de l'Ouest. Les impérialistes font tout pour mettre l'Afrique de l'Ouest à feu et à sang. Mais du sommet de l'État jusqu'à certaines populations, soit nous faisons semblant de ne pas voir venir le danger, ou bien nous sommes nous-mêmes complices de ce qui va arriver. Le chaos pourrait s'installer. Je dis bien pourrait s'installer. Beaucoup de gens pourraient mourir. Nous allons nous entretuer de manière tellement atroce que pendant ce temps, ils seraient là à piller nos richesses, à imposer leur volonté. Et ceux qui vont survivre de cette tragédie n'auront que deux choix. Soit s'unir pour toujours contre l'impérialisme ou se résumer à être des esclaves jusqu'à disparaître. Il faut donc se prémunir de l'hiver noir qui vient. Nous ne pouvons pas comprendre que les Noirs en Afrique de l'Ouest ici prient Dieu que les terroristes tuent des populations noires. Nous ne pouvons pas comprendre que des chefs d'État lâches se cachent derrière des médias, soi-disant médias, pour décourager, insulter, activer la haine entre les populations. Ces individus qui sont sur leur plateau, qui tous les jours du matin au soir crachent leur venin toxique pour attiser la haine entre les communautés, ils sont généralement très vilains. Avec leur gueule de musaraigne, ils ne savent que faire cela. Regardez-les bien. Ils sont là avec des yeux de drosophiles sauvages. Tous les jours, c'est cracher du venin. Ils cherchent à diviser les communautés. Sur les réseaux sociaux, ils sont là et ils sont nombreux. Pourquoi est-ce que nous, Noirs, cherchons à cultiver la haine entre nous? Et par hypocrisie, on se dit frère. Il faut que nous puissions nous dire la vérité de manière très crue, quitte à ce que ça vexe. On va s'excuser, mais il faut que nous nous réveillons. Pourquoi est-ce que le noir est comme ça? Pourquoi est-ce que nous ne pouvons pas voir le danger venir, nous unir et nous prémunir? Pourquoi est-ce qu'il faut que par nos comportements, nous allions affronter ces dangers qui risquent de nous décimer? Mais d'autres ont fermé les oreilles. Ils font semblant de ne pas entendre la politique de l'Autriche. Des peuples se complaisent dans la colonisation. Ils aiment cette domination. À peine s'ils n'appellent pas les impérialistes, venez nous coloniser. Nous aimons être vos esclaves. Nous nous posons souvent des questions lorsqu'on voit les réactions. Ces pseudo-intellectuels décérébrés qui sont là à longueur de journée à entamer des débats en toute indignité, en toute malhonnêteté, comme s'ils ne voient pas la réalité des exemples qui se présentent à nous. Il y a plein d'exemples. Lorsque la démocratie fait certaines choses contraires aux règles même qu'elle s'est fixées, ils ferment les yeux là-dessus. Mais ils sont prompts à nous appeler juntes ou putschistes. Mais soyez sûrs d'une chose, nous sommes unis et nous resterons unis. Et nous devons ouvrir les yeux. L'AES va évoluer. Tout n'est pas forcément rose. Tout ne peut pas aller au rythme que nous souhaitons. Mais nous avançons sereinement et nous allons arriver à notre objectif. Et quand viendra l'hiver, si il faille que nous passions par l'hiver pour être libres, pour être unis, nous prions Dieu qu'il en soit ainsi et qu'il protège nos populations. Sinon, une chose est sûre, l'AES vaincra, l'AES grandira. Restez sereins parce que nous avons confiance en nos populations. Nous avons confiance en vous, que vous compreniez qu'aucune manipulation ne peut aujourd'hui nous diviser entre nous. Aucune manipulation ne peut nous amener à haïr d'autres personnes. Aucune manipulation ne doit nous amener à riposter d'une manière violente, physique, face à ces individus qui n'ont absolument rien compris. Restez sereins, ne ripostez pas physiquement, nous riposterons par la communication jusqu'à ce qu'ils changent eux-mêmes de mode d'action et nous allons aussi riposter en fonction du mode d'action. Restez sereins, Dieu protégera l'AES. Dieu vous protège tous, toutes les populations de l'AES. Dieu vous accompagne tous dans vos objectifs. Et Dieu, qui est si juste, se bat pour ceux qui se battent. Nous nous battons. Nous sommes une population résiliente, la plus résiliente de la sous-région. Personne n'aurait cru que vous pouvez supporter ce que vous êtes en train de vivre. Nous allons vaincre le terrorisme, nous allons nous développer et nous allons nous affirmer. Nous allons avoir notre place dans le
People say all the time, Dave Warren, that so-called black people need to go ahead and don't even get involved with military, none of that.
Stay out of it.
Stay out of it, because all they're gonna do is use us as pawns, man. You go ahead and fight against our own people, I'm talking about the righteous brothers, like, the righteous leaders, those sellouts, man,
that we've been reading about,
like in Nigeria, man, has a problem, man.
They have a lot of problems.
I know all the brothers in Nigeria. I know all of them don't think with that flapjack sellout mentality, but there's enough of them in there, man. It's gonna go ahead and cause the righteous to go to hell because of their sellout thinking, man. I mean, it's the same thing, man. What we deal with right here in the United States, same thing, bro.
It literally is the same thing, and he's talking about a black winter is coming, and he's trying to get like all of the people of color. Hey, let's stay calm, let's communicate, let's not fall for their tricks, because again, Trump claimed that they went to Nigeria because they were protecting Christians when the data don't support that. You got to be able to see through the deception, right? So that was another stage of war, right? That's really what they're bringing to that region, right? So I showed y'all that. So this is a map, right? So Nigeria, this is where they attacked. Now you see Niger, y'all see Burkina Faso, y'all see Ghana, Sierra Leone. When y'all do most of y'all research on y'all ancestry, y'all came from West Africa. All of these, like Mali, all of these little regions is where y'all came from. And that's the same places they're going to. Pay attention. And then they're erasing your existence from American culture. You got to remember that. It's getting completely erased. Okay.
So Burkina Faso,
West Africa.
Okay, I thought it was a little bit further north. I'm not so sure, but I need to go ahead and brush up on my geography a little bit. But Burkina Faso, I'm looking at how they're sitting between Ghana and Nigeria, and
the Sahel.
But Ghana and Nigeria, I don't see where Liberia is at around there, but they speak pretty good English. Burkina Faso is speaking French.
French.
Yeah, because remember, they just recently kicked the French out, right? Because the French, they had the rights to all of their, either oil or gold or whatever, minerals, and they were only getting less than 5% of it, and then they was getting, the European Union or whatever was getting 95% of it. And so now that happens, France is mad, Europe is mad because they don't have access to that no more. Trump is mad at Venezuela because we don't got access to those minerals no more. So you're starting to see all of these European, because America, whether we like it or not, is technically a European power at this point in time, are upset because they don't have access to those resources. So the only way you can get access is what?
Wipe them off their map.
Right, through war and propaganda. Oh, we're doing this. So now they're making it seem like it's this holy crusade, which would be the 8th one, which it is not. And I know y'all think that I might be saying that this is a conspiracy, but Trump, he's doubled down even more than that. So if you go, you see where it says President Donald Trump, the White House, restricting and limiting the entry of foreign nationals to protect the security of the United States, right?
All of a sudden.
Okay. So it says, during my first administration, I restricted the entry of certain foreign nationals into the United States to prevent national security and public safety threats from reaching our borders. The Supreme Court upheld these restrictions. I reinstated these successful policies in Executive Order 14161 on January 20th, 2025, protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. And Proclamation 10949 on June 4th, 2025, restricting the entry of foreign nationals to protect the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. It is the policy of the United States to protect its citizens from foreign nationals who intend to commit terrorist attacks, threaten our national security and public safety, incite hate crimes, or otherwise exploit the immigration laws for malevolent purposes. The United States must exercise extreme vigilance during the visa issuance and immigration processes to identify, prior to the admission of entry into the United States, foreign nationals who intend to harm Americans or our national interests. The United States government must ensure that admitted aliens do not intend to threaten its citizens, undermine or destabilize its culture, government, institution, or founding principles, or advocate for, aid, or support designated foreign terrorists or other threats to our national security. Now, I said all of that word salad just to jump down to part H in this article. After reviewing the report described in subsection D of this section, and after accounting for the foreign policy, national security, and counterterrorism objectives of the United States, I have determined to fully restrict and limit the entry of nationals of 7 additional countries, including Burkina Faso, Laos, Mali, Niger, Sierra Leone, South Sudan, and Syria. When have they did any terrorist attacks to America? Make that make sense. Bro.
He's sensitive, man.
Huh? No, bro, like we're not sensitive. That's the problem. So we're thinking, oh, it's just like, oh, this is a religious thing. No, it's not. It's a resource thing, and really it's a white supremacy thing. Because with Ibrahim Traoré and those other Africans that are kicked them out in the Sahel region, that's why I showed y'all the Sahel on that map. So what Ibrahim Traoré is trying to do, he's trying to create a United States of Africa. And that is the biggest fear to the European world, right? So that's why he don't want no more of them coming over here. But you know who else can still come over here? Those white South Afrikaners, they can still come over here. Even though most of the terrorist attacks that happen in the States, to be honest, or mass shootings, let's just call a spade a spade. But you mad about people that don't even come over here like that? Like, it's crazy because like he talks about like threats and all the stuff that we just read. But every movie, TV show, anytime you're dealing with politics and when you come into like elections, this and that, the 2 main threats that they always say is what? Russia and China. Why are they not on this list right here? It's just strange. Like the stuff don't even just, it don't make sense. Like if you're awake, this stuff don't make no sense at all. Like, wait a minute. So you completely erasing our history. They can't come over here no more. Y'all know we kin to them. This is getting a little weird. This is getting a little beyond sci-fi for me. If you have eyes to see it, though.
You know what's in Sierra Leone?
Huh?
So you know what's in Sierra Leone?
What's in Sierra Leone?
Diamonds.
Or forever.
I learned it from Kanye, so.
And then what is it? I think Ghana was the Gold Coast, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that's the Gold Coast.
Yeah, I'm supposed to put that out.
But they never really get to experience the money from it because they always got it.
So all of this stuff, like they be putting this stuff in the movies, right? So I don't really listen to this guy too much, but sometimes he be spot on. So fair use, again, this is for educational and training purposes. Go ahead, Ellen.
You know, the thing about it, right now, YAH'S is a lot of confusion in our enemy's minds. But I will say this here, and to all to all the listening audience out there, and I hope that those folks that are listening, they need to leave their hands off Burkina Faso, really, because that makes
it looks like it's going to be the tipping point.
Because that we talk about if we know about Nigeria, but they're gonna have to solve that problem right there. Y'all getting straightened out, but right now Burkina Faso, y'all has raised up that brother and stuff. They need to leave the apple of y'all's eye alone because if they go ahead and try to do something, it ain't gonna go too
No,
nice.
they gonna try. That's what they're.
But it ain't gonna go too nice for this country. I'm just saying,
look.
man. And they put their hands on, you know, and I hope the powers that be are listening. But they need to leave that man alone. Because
I agree.
it ain't gonna go too good for the U.S. if they go ahead and touch it.
Look, because like, you know, them in the Sahel regions, like they've already kind of sort of partnered with Russia already and kind of China. So it's also kind of forming that world war. We cannot forget about that. That's why I keep saying Black winter is coming, right? And so he's going to talk about something. And like I was saying earlier, they put all this stuff in movies. The Avengers movie. That's all I'm going to say. Fair uses for educational and training purposes.
In the Sahel Alliance. Ibrahim Traoré is the president of Burkina Faso. You also have the president of Niger, Chiani, and you have General Goita of Mali, right? Right. The real reason, Art, and I need you to get this, the real reason Donald Trump wants to invade northern Nigeria, Art, has nothing to do with Black Christians. Nothing to do with my Christian brothers and sisters in the north. Northern Nigeria sits under what country, Art? Northern Nigeria sits right under Niger, one of the 3 countries in the Sahel Alliance. Nigeria borders Niger. And why is Niger so important, Art? Who is the #1 supplier of uranium in the world? Niger. Do you know what you need uranium for, Art? Nuclear missiles, nuclear bombs, nuclear technology, nuclear warheads. Niger is the #1 supplier of uranium. And in the nuclear age, Art, uranium is the vibranium of Black Panther. In the nuclear age, uranium is the vibranium that they talked about in the Black Panther movie. So the reason Donald Trump needs to get into northern Nigeria, Art, so they can invade and try to overthrow President Chiani in Niger so they can get control of the uranium. Are you with me so far? I follow you. Not only does Niger have uranium, they have gold and other resources. And then next to Niger, you have who? Mali. Mali has gold. Mali has copper. Mali has zinc and unlimited natural resources. And then Burkina Faso is only a hop, skip, and a jump from northern Nigeria. And you know they want to get rid of Ibrahim Traoré. And we pray to God and the ancestors that never happens. But they want to get rid of Ibrahim Traoré because he's the leader. And what does Burkina Faso have a whole lot of? Gold, Art. Donald Trump wants to geopolitically and strategically put the U.S. military in northern Nigeria so they have easy access to invade Niger right above, Mali right above to the left, and Burkina Faso right above even further to the left. Do you see that? Right, I see. This is about overthrowing independent African states, Art. Donald Trump don't give a damn about no Black Christians in Traoré in the Sahel.
But when he's talking about, he's spot on with that. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
Wrong facts.
Wrong. So Nigeria, right? So yes, Nigeria has significant untapped oil and gas with recent discoveries and ongoing exploration in areas like the Anambra Basin, shale oil, gas, and shallow offshore fields, adding to its massive reserves, though the development lags due to underinvestment. So that's when America and all these other people come in with all their money to invest in it, right? With huge potential locked in deep water and undeveloped fields. Recent efforts under President Tinubu aim to boost production and unlock this potential through new projects and reforms attracting investment. But so Nigeria also has oil, right? Also Nigeria has uranium also. It's not just Niger, so does Nigeria. So I'm just showing y'all the real reason why they're over there. And we know, I mean, he spoke about all this other stuff with uranium with Nigeria or with Niger. But that's why the Black winter is coming, because they want the resources, and to be honest, they want to put them back in slavery. Or, I mean, the way that they erase everything, maybe they either make them slaves, send them over here, or maybe since they're erasing our history, maybe they send us back over there as slaves, or At least maybe the ones in prison. You don't know, because he's already sending people to different countries in prison. He's not even using people, like, they don't understand what's going on. He's operating like a king. Like, I don't know. The stuff is it's above me now. I don't know. I'm just trying to show y'all the stuff that's really going on. That's it. So we gonna finish. We got like 3 slides, I think. So First Maccabees 7 verse 36. Then the priest entered in and stood before the altar in the temple, weeping and saying, "You, O master, did choose the house, this house, to be called by your name, and to be a house of prayer and petition for your people. Be avenged of this man and his host, and let them fall by the sword. Remember their blasphemies, and suffer them not to continue any longer." We need to be praying this prayer for our people. So Nicanor went out of Jerusalem and pitched his tents in Beth Horon, where an host out of Syria met him. But Yehuda pitched in Adasa with 3,000 men, and there he prayed, saying, "O master, when they that were sent from the king of the Assyrians blasphemed, your angel went out and smote 185,000 of them. Even so, destroy you this host before us this day, that the rest may know that he have spoken blasphemously against your sanctuary, and judge you him according to his wickedness." So the 13th day of the month Adar, the host joined battle, but Nicanor's host was discomfited, and he himself was first slain in the battle. He was the first one to go. Talking madness against the temple, the sanctuary. Now when Nicanor's host saw that he was slain, they cast away their weapons and fled. The power of the Most High, through prayer and fasting and supplication and faithfulness. Then they pursued after them a day's journey from Adasa unto Gezerah, sounding an alarm after them with their trumpets. You got to be in good shape to be chasing people for a whole day and night. Whereupon they came forth out of all the towns of Judea round about, and closed them in, so that they, turning back upon them that pursued them, were all slain by the sword, and not one of them was left. This is your people. Afterwards they took the spoils and the prey, and smote off Nicanor's head and his right hand. What does your right hand represent? Power. Which he stretched out so proudly, and brought them away, and hanged them up toward Jerusalem. For this cause the people rejoiced greatly, and they kept that day a day of great gladness. Moreover, they ordained to keep yearly this day, being the 13th of Adar. Thus the land of Judah was in rest a little while. We're going to stop there. But just trying to show y'all black winter is coming. Be prepared. Keep your head on the swivel. We know we in our Goshen, but we still got to be ready. We don't know what's going to happen. Elder, you mind praying us out?
Sure. Yah, give us the courage and the strength of our ancestors that rode hard with Yehuda's Maccabees, the hammer. Give us not a spirit of fear and faintness, but give us the strength that we're going to need here in these days. Yah, in our King's name, protect our brother Ibrahim Freori and those righteous men that are riding with our brother. And also, Yah, you know these sellouts. And I'm going to say this, Yah, the ones that's right here in America too, do something with those niggers too. I'm asking, in Hamashiach's precious name, so be it.
So be it, man. Hey, we are Yehuda. This is YAH'S Assembly. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, like and share our content. And as always, until next time, Shalom, tribe. I don't know. I should have had somebody else do it. I knew you was going to. serious. Like, I was not joking.